What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome
back.
Welcome back to you. Welcome back to you. And welcome back to me. Welcome back to you.
Yes, we are back and better than ever. And more basic than ever.
Yeah, we've always been basic, but we're going back to the basics.
We grabbed the playbook from last year, threw it out, decided, you know what? Let's just wing it. Let's just go back to being basic and wing it again.
Yeah. I'm not really worried about what you think.
Nope. So, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of in-depth stuff. First thing is we're just going to talk about Colin Kaepernick.
Because that's what everybody's talking about.
Everyone's talking
Why
about
not talk about that?
Then we're going to talk about the NFC West. We're going to break down some matchups, talk about, who's going to win it.
And being an NFC West fan, not much to talk about. Not much has changed.
Then we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame for next year.
Trash.
Who's going to get in, who we think's going to get in, who we want to get in. And then we're going to top it off with the AFC West and talk about their breakdown, their division look-up, and everything like that. So without further ado, we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick. That's
All right.
what everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick should be on a team right now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I feel like there's not an argument for this. People are going to say that he's a distraction, but a distraction makes no sense when he's not doing the things that he said that he was doing before. And you can't be distracted when nobody is talking about it or to you to it while you're doing your job.
Will they be distracted if they pick up Colin Kaepernick and start winning games?
No.
Exactly.
They'll be excited that Colin Kaepernick was able to bring wins to a team.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
And don't even say, well, why didn't he bring wins to San Francisco? Look at that roster from last year and tell me who could have brought wins to that San Francisco team.
The reason why he didn't win games was because, and don't worry, I wrote about this, because I do media now. He had the last ranked defense.
Yeah.
And the second to the last ranked offense, and it was only because he had Torrey Smith as his main wide receiver.
Say, Mike, who was his second receiver?
Don't
know.
I'd like to tell you, but I really couldn't. Was it Anquan Bolden?
No, he was with the Lions.
Oh, he was with the Lions.
Say, Mike, who was their tight end this year?
It wasn't Vernon Davis, was it?
No.
Oh, man.
Say, Mike, they had a decent running back, right?
Yeah, Carlos Hyde, but he came
That's
in.
it, right?
He came in late.
No.
Yeah, he didn't start all 16 games.
Well, I know, but he started the first game.
But still,
I know.
He didn't start all 16 games.
Say, Mike, who's their head coach?
Jim Tomsula?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I guessed on that one. I just, Colin Kaepernick was in the worst case scenario. But yet he still threw for 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, over 2,000 yards, and had over a 50% completion rating. Also, someone's going to be like, oh, well, he had 4 interceptions in one game.
Those were his only 4 picks.
That was his
12
only 4
games
picks.
he played.
And I think it was against Seattle.
Of course.
Seattle. You're throwing
That's
against
a division game. That's going to be tough regardless.
You're throwing against a division game and
LOB.
arguably one of the greatest defenses to take the field. So it's okay, sure. 4 interceptions ever in one season.
So say he didn't play that game, he would have 16 touchdowns,
No
and
interceptions.
0 interceptions.
And over 2,000 yards of receiving. And I also believe he had over 500 yards of rushing. Look, I get it. He's not going to be able to fit every team. That's fine. But there are teams out there that are playoff contenders and just have a question mark at quarterback. If I said Houston Texans and Colin Kaepernick, that should make sense because they're a quarterback away from winning that division and being in the playoffs.
And they're going to say, but we just drafted a quarterback. Exactly. He has time to learn. Don't worry about him right now. Why not get a good veteran quarterback to lead your team to possibly the second round of the playoffs?
The Jacksonville Jaguars easily could be a playoff team. If Blake Bortles doesn't work out, then you should start calling Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, and let's get the Dolphins out of the way. I do think that Colin Kaepernick should be on a team. There are 31 other teams that could probably use him somewhere. The Dolphins, however, although me and Mike, his protest didn't bother us at all.
No.
So That being said, there's only one team that probably wouldn't sign him anyway because he did say good things about Fidel Castro.
And there's a lot of,
It's a strong Latino community in Miami, so that wouldn't go over well. So I can see that.
But there's other teams like Baltimore, Indianapolis. All of those teams could use a quarterback, a starting quarterback.
Okay. So Baltimore a couple years ago, didn't they have a bunch of riots because of police brutality?
It sounds like that would be,
What was Colin Kaepernick protesting?
Police brutality. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
So you think that they could use his voice of reason, right?
But what makes it even worse is that there's other former players who have done things 10 times worse coming out saying that he shouldn't be signed. You really think Ray Lewis should be coming out
Never
saying
proven.
that he should be coming out saying that he shouldn't be playing?
Never proven.
After he was acquitted of murder?
Never proven.
Doesn't matter. That's fine.
I know what you're
wasn't
saying.
proven of murder.
Listen,
Michael Vick killed dogs, came back and started for Philadelphia, and no one had a problem.
Straight out of jail.
Straight out of jail started.
And let's not even talk about domestic abuse or DUIs or drug charges. How many times has Josh Gordon came back?
And it's after him being suspended 2 games, 4 games, 10 games, a whole season. Now no one's picking him up.
Yeah, now. This is Colin Kaepernick's first offense. And I'm sorry, did he break the law?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I get it. A lot of people don't like him for it. But when you start winning games, then you're going to start looking past that. Which is why a lot of people pick up these players who have done worse things. So it doesn't make sense that Colin Kaepernick shouldn't be on a team. He should be on a team right now. There's plenty of teams that could use him. I would say he's welcome to the Jets, but there's no need for him to be on our team. We're not even a 5-win team right now. As much as I hate to say it, we're not even a 5-win team right now.
Say, Mike, who's the Browns starting quarterback?
Brock Osweiler.
You think they could use Colin Kaepernick?
I mean, they have about 7 quarterbacks on that roster, so why not throw one more on there?
I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense.
I won't get it.
But we'll go. We'll just jump from him to his former team and the entire NFC West, which we're just gonna break down the NFC West, talk about what to expect, who's gonna be playing who, things like that. So in the NFC West, we have the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm gonna go in order in what they were last year. Seattle Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, the Los Angeles Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. That's how the orders fell out last year. You have a good chance of them falling in it this year as well.
Yep.
But the NFC West is going up against for their schedule. Now, obviously, this isn't their full schedule because they got to play the 3rd place team of this conference. And I'm not getting into all that. I'm not going to read each team's schedule.
Yeah.
But the NFC West is going up against, obviously, the NFC West opposing team twice. They're going to be going up against the AFC South and the NFC East. So NFC West has a pretty difficult schedule if you really want to be honest.
Yeah.
Because facing your division teams, that's always hard.
Yeah.
But the AFC South, there's a couple, games here and there depending on where the schedule falls at. That'll be easy. But the NFC East is a very
not easy.
very difficult team.
They all got pretty decent quarterbacks.
All of them have pretty decent quarterbacks. The only team that's like a chalk up for a win most likely is Washington. Just
not
because
even them though. I mean, because you got to think.
But yeah, I mean, even then, it's like they didn't get any worse. They got better.
And not just that. I'm expecting a huge year out of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, because he wants to get paid.
Because he wants to get paid.
He wants to get paid.
And he wants to look good for other teams because he's not staying in Washington.
So the NFC West, he's going to look good for his new team, San Francisco.
LA.
Gonna
go back with his old coach.
So seeing this schedule, seeing, everything that's going on, hearing who's gotten picked up and who hasn't gotten picked up, what do you expect out of, the 4 teams?
Okay, so I do think that most likely it's going to end up in the same spots as last year, maybe switching San Francisco and LA. Maybe. I don't know. It all depends on how good Brian Hoyer does.
I forgot they picked up Brian Hoyer.
Now Seattle, I mean, I think that they're still a great team. Obviously, I can see them winning anywhere from 10 to 12 games this year. Obviously, winning the division, probably going deep into the playoffs again. Arizona is the one I'm really not sure about because David Johnson had a great year last year. Carson Palmer's not getting any younger.
No.
And he is the biggest choke artist I've ever seen. And it hurts me because I'm a Rams fan, so I'm kind of not allowed to like the Cardinals, but I love Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't ever think he's going to get that ring. So Arizona's not going to have a better year than they had last year. It's either going to be the same exact way or it's going to be worse. The Rams, I don't know why I'm a fan, but I guess I can stay a fan. I really like the addition of Sean McVay as the head coach. I like his track record with his offenses that he's led steadily improved every single year, and I'm looking forward to that. I know it's probably not going to be this year because we got a lot of holes in our offense. Our defense, however, I think is going to be better than it's ever been. We have Wade Phillips, a legend at defensive coordinator, switching to a 3-4 defense, and we've got a very fast defense, very fast. There was a lot of talk about our secondary this year too, about how we're going to surprise everybody. So with that being said, if Jared Goff can put up decent numbers and protect the football, and our line helps Gurley go back to his rookie season, I honestly think that we could possibly make the playoffs as a wild card, but if not, we are going to the bottom at the NFC West. And I can say the same thing about San Francisco. I think they made a good choice with John Lynch at GM. Their defense is young. It's going to get better. They've got a good running back in Carlos Hyde. Honestly, they just need to beef up their offensive line and get a quarterback, and I think they're in good shape. But if I had to say anything, I would just say it's going to be the same standings this year, unless LA can have an offensive explosion, because their defense is there.
I agree with you. I think that I honestly feel like Seattle's going to start falling.
They're going to start.
I feel like Seattle's going to start slipping, and this schedule is not going to be easy. This is going to be like, and I mean, I honestly feel like it's going to be like when Seattle won the division at 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same thing again this year.
I mean, and
Seattle could win the division at 9-7, and the Rams could be 8-8. But it's going to be tough this year because the NFC East, every quarterback in that division is good. I mean, I don't care. I'll fight anyone who says that Philadelphia's quarterback Carson Wentz is not good, considering that he started 6-0, and the only reason why he started failing is because his offensive line and his defense decided to just tap out.
Not to mention, he's got a all-pro receiver on his team.
He's got good receivers now. He's got a good running back. The AFC South is only getting stronger. I mean, you got to face one of the best defenses in the league in Houston. Then you have to turn around and go, all right, now we have to face arguably one of the most underrated offenses in the league right now with Tennessee. You got a huge offensive explosion waiting to happen in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And they also have a young, supposedly healthy, good-looking defense. And then Indianapolis, depending on when they play, Andrew Luck could be back, and Andrew Luck could be better than ever. We don't know. I'm not saying that he's going to come back and be dominant. I'm just saying there's all these things that could potentially happen.
And if you look at it, Jacksonville, as soon as that offense explodes, I can see them averaging 35 points a game.
Oh, they'll take off because they have, their question marks also at running back as well. I don't know how to feel about Fournette, but with that being said, Seattle is it's gonna be tough for Seattle this year because they got to face the Giants, and then they got to face Dallas, and all of these teams, they're high-powered offenses, and that defense is going to get tired.
Not just that. I like what you said about them falling. They are going to start falling. I think they got maybe this season, next season, and maybe the season after that being, and not even being a contender, just being a good team.
Like right now, they barely made it to the playoffs last year. Barely made it to the playoffs last year. And that was with Cam Chancellor getting hurt towards the end of the season. Or no, I'm sorry, Earl Thomas getting hurt towards the end of the season.
And I'll say it, and I mean, I don't give much props to my own team, but we're coming. Like, we're on the come up.
I honestly can see, and I mean, I'm not saying that this will happen, but I can honestly see Seattle falling to 3 and Arizona at 1 and LA at 2. LA, with their new head coach, could easily be a 9-7 team this year. LA will have more wins than Indianapolis this year. LA could easily be middle of the pack, constantly in the hunt for the playoffs this year.
That's all I want.
That's all I want. Constantly be in the hunt for the playoffs this year. And I'm dead serious about that because people don't like Jared Goff, but look at really what Jared Goff had to work with last year. I mean, besides Tavon Austin, I couldn't name you another wide receiver on that team. What, Brian Quick?
Brian Quick was halfway decent. He just gets hurt all the time.
But it's like,
and I understand.
Tavon Austin isn't the best wide receiver to give a quarterback who's learning because Tavon Austin is just a burner. That's it. He's just a burner. He's your Deshaun Jackson. He needs a solid wide receiver. I don't know if you guys picked one up in the draft this year.
We picked. I like Cooper Kupp as our rookie receiver.
Is he from USC?
No, he's from some little school.
Okay.
And you know, I like him. I don't think he's the answer. I'm still waiting for we picked up Robert Woods from the Bills.
That's the other one.
That was our big receiver signing, and I just don't get me wrong. I think he has potential to have a good season, but at the same time, I don't want I'm not asking for a star receiver. I want just a solid possession receiver that Jared Goff trusts. That he just needs a solid possession receiver or a decent tight end that he can trust.
And it'll come eventually, but I think this year, Todd Gurley's going to put up big numbers, and Jared Goff's going to is going to look very, very good. If your head coach Sean McVay, if he does the same offensive structure that the Giants and the Patriots do, then where it's short 5-yard cuts and he just tosses the ball and lets the receiver do the work, he could easily put up 3,000, 4,000 yards this year.
Well, my thing is I by no means do I want the Rams to tank. I want them to have a great year. But with that being said, if we don't do anything this year, it's not the worst thing in the world because we have potential to sign Kirk Cousins next year. Because Kirk Cousins...
It just depends on how... that's
and
also
McVay back together.
It just depends on how good Goff does. If Goff has a really bad year, then I can see Kirk going there next year.
And there's no reason for him not to.
This year, I honestly see Arizona being number 1. That defense hasn't lost anybody. It's still great. Patrick Peterson is destined to get to a Super Bowl this year. Not saying it's going to happen, but he is destined to do everything that he can to make it easier for that team.
Don't forget about Honey Badger.
Honey Badger he's livid. I don't know. I read something about him in the news the other day, but he is livid about something. I think it's about him not being treated like an all-star safety. I expect big plays from him this year. I could see them being number 1. Seattle, I can still see them being number 2, but I see LA being a solid 8-8, 9-7 number 3. They're gonna be pushing for a wild card. They're gonna be 1 or 2 games out, which it's gonna be 1 or 2 games where they literally had no shot at winning.
Well, the good thing about the Rams, and I can say this for the past 5 years or so, we play great in our division.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
we play good in our division. It's just we always beat the teams we have no business beating, and then we lose to the Browns.
If you split against the season, against your division games, you could easily, be 9-7.
Yeah.
Easily, because then that's splitting, and then that's winning a couple games against the AFC South, which, like I said, depending on where it falls, Indianapolis and Jacksonville could be easy wins.
Yeah.
And if your defense is as good as everyone says, all they have to do is shut down Tom Savage.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC East is where it gets a little tough, but I can easily see you guys being an 8-8, 9-7 team. San Francisco is going to be 1-15. I don't. Everyone keeps talking about how the Jets are going to have the number 1 pick this year. San Francisco will have the number 1 pick this year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. They added Brian Hoyer, who's done nothing in the league. Nothing. I don't. He didn't do anything for the Browns. He didn't do anything for the Bears. He didn't do anything for any other team that he's ever played for in his entire life. I don't see him doing well at all. They picked up Pierre Garçon, which that's great, but he's also not going to really do anything for them either.
He's not a solid number 1. He's a solid number 2.
Their best bet is running the ball with Carlos Hyde. But there's only so much that you can do with Carlos Hyde before a team goes, all right, look, we know what we're going to do. We're just going to shut down, Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Their defense, on the other hand, they have great middle linebackers. With Navarro Bowman, Malcolm Smith actually got hurt, so now it's Reuben Foster. And they have another guy, I can't remember his name right now, but they have great linebackers. But it's also just everywhere else.
The core is there for their defense. It's just they need to build on that.
They need to build on that. I see them being 1-15, 2-14. I don't see them winning a lot of games this year, especially in their division. Their division is tough, no doubt about it. And then you have to play the NFC East. They're not going to win a game against the NFC East. And, I mean, they can squeeze a couple games against the AFC South or whatever teams that they have to play against later, but I don't see them being... they're going to be at the bottom again this year. John Lynch was a good move, but it's going to take time.
Yeah.
They are a rebuilding team.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take a couple years because they don't have a quarterback right now.
Now, with what they've done in the short time that they've had, they've done a good job.
Yeah, they got some good defensive linemen and,
it's going to take time.
It's going to take a lot of time. So we're going to go, speaking of John Lynch, we'll go to Hall of Fame for next year.
Next year, because I was extremely upset with this year's Hall of
So-
Fame, although my boy Kurt Warner got in.
So
and
next
LT.
year, and LT got in. That's all that. I mean, Jason Taylor got in. That was good.
That's all right. Yeah. I
But
like Jason
next
Taylor.
year, we're going to tell you some of the people who are eligible and who we think should be in the Hall of Fame or inducted or at least, mentioned about potentially being in the Hall of Fame next year.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to start it off?
Yeah, I'll start it off. Okay, I'm going to start it off with somebody who definitely should have got in and will probably get snubbed this year again because for whatever reason, media just does not want it, and that's Terrell Owens. I personally think from a skill standpoint, Randy Moss is the best receiver of all time, followed by Jerry Rice. You can make an argument with T.O. being number 2, though. You can, based off statistics. And also just based off of pure talent, you can base him at number 2. Jerry was fast. Jerry also had Joe Montana. Jerry also had a good running back. I mean, you look at T.O.'s past teams. His best quarterback that he's played with was Tony Romo, right? But in all those times, he's had solid running games, but never like Jerry Rice had with
Right.
the 49ers. That being said, Terrell Owens definitely deserves it. Randy Moss, definitely, like I said, I think he's the best receiver of all time. Statistics say otherwise, but that's not what matters all the time. Randy Moss gets in. Ray Lewis, Lakeland's own, which this is where we're from. Ray Lewis gets in this year. Tony Baselli got snubbed last year. Jaguars offensive lineman. Great pick. Great lineman for the Jaguars. Should have got in. Brian Dawkins will get in this year. I hope, because although everybody knows Brian Dawkins, they know he was a great safety, he still gets overshadowed by Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu, rightfully so, because they were better. But he was still just a great, hard-hitting safety. You could use him in any situation, on a blitz, interception, open field tackles, great. Now, this one is just me being petty, because owners should get in from time to time, but I don't like the move too much. I think it should be players first, obviously. But Pat Bowlen should have got in this year before Jerry Jones. He has a better track record than Jerry Jones. Now, this last one is going to be 4 people. Obviously, I know they can't put all 4 of them in at the same time. These are people that I want to get in that I think will get snubbed after snub after snub after snub. And that's Fred Taylor, Priest Holmes, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt. Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt were arguably 2 of the biggest reasons for the greatest show on turf. I mean, granted, we had Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner, but they were great receivers. Priest Holmes, I can't say enough about Priest Holmes. I mean, he was right up there with LaDainian Tomlinson. He didn't get talked about as much because he didn't have the team that LaDainian Tomlinson had. And Fred Taylor, I mean, same as Priest Holmes. I mean, when you're on Jacksonville, you just don't get much exposure. And Fred Taylor, if he was on any other team in the NFL, possibly besides the Panthers because they were in the same boat as Jacksonville, easily a Hall of Fame running back. Same with Priest Holmes. So I hope that's who gets in, but we'll see. They don't pick very well, I don't think. So.
No, they don't pick very well. But I think this year, I mean, mine's going to be all biased. All biased, and I don't care. Randy Moss, obviously the best receiver to ever play the game. I can care less about Jerry Rice being, having the most Super Bowls and catches and all. That's all fine and dandy. Randy Moss dominated the game. Dominated. Just like it was a whole new meaning to football when Randy Moss started playing the game. That's it. Ray Lewis. I mean, once again, if you can just beat down an offense to where it's like, all right, look, my name is Ray Lewis, and this is how it's going to go down. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen Ray Lewis get shook or get ran over, ever. Maybe shook, yeah, but ran over, no. You don't.
Have.
By who, Cedric?
Will Shields.
Oh.
Didn't run him over, but
I'm talking
manhandled him.
I'm talking about on his back. I've never seen him get run over on his back.
Chad Johnson tried.
John tried. The next one, I mean, once again, I'm going to be biased because I've watched this guy my entire football life. Brian Urlacher. He was the voice, the eye, the speed, the everything for the Chicago Bears defense. And the fact that the man was like, I'm going to play for the Bears and nobody else, that shows loyalty. I mean, the same thing with Ray Lewis, though. I'm not going to leave this team. I am this team is basically what the mentality was for that. So that was just great. Kevin Mawai. This is super biased because Kevin Mawai played for the Jets for the longest time. And that was
great center.
Kevin Mawai and Chad Pennington were cornerstones to that Jets offense. I remember it. I mean,
it was a straight line. Kevin Mawai, Chad Pennington, Curtis Martin. Orion's belt.
Yep. Oh, Jets belt.
That should have been y'all's nickname, Orion's belt.
Yeah. Well, wow. Ryan wasn't there.
Oh, that would have been so awesome.
Yeah. Next one. These are all players that I grew up watching, so I have to pick these guys. John Lynch. He's now what? GM of the 49ers. But you didn't want to go across the middle when John Lynch was even on the field. I mean, you wanted to make sure that you went to the sideline, and even then, it was still scary.
Still
like
smack.
John Lynch was the definition of hard-hitting football. Don't get me wrong, like Brian Dawkins was a hard hitter, but Lynch literally just went for the hard hit. Like he was all fine with just laying you out and just being like, all right, next play, no big deal. Ty Law, I mean, what other corner do you know has 3 Super Bowl rings and, just dominated the corner position quietly. As much as I hate Ty Law because he played for the Patriots.
A lot of people don't know who Ty Law is.
Ty Law dominated the game quietly.
The first number 24.
Quietly, man. And then the last, I'm going to have to go with Terrell Owens. Like, yeah, he got snubbed last year, and he's going to get snubbed again this year. I guarantee it. But, because they'll probably take Terrell Owens and put Bosley in, but...
Man, they better not snub him.
But Owens was a cornerstone in football for me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just seeing him with the spike, seeing him with the popcorn.
If he had a bad game, he still entertained you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the only thing that hinders Terrell Owens is the fact that he played for 5 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
But he played 8 years as a receiver. He played 8 years with Dallas. With 49ers. Then he went to...
And he went to Philly.
Mm-hmm. Then he went to...
Buffalo.
No, the Dallas.
I think he went to Buffalo first.
No, he went to Dallas. Then he went to Buffalo. Was it Dallas and then Philly, or Philly then Dallas?
No. It was... I'm pretty sure it was 49ers, Philly. We're going to have to check Buffalo and Cowboys. I'm pretty sure it's Buffalo.
It's Dallas and then Buffalo and then Bengals.
Bengals.
So that's...
And then the Seahawks.
I don't think he played for the Seahawks.
Yep.
I think he got signed, but I don't think he ever played.
He played preseason. Got cut.
Yeah, see, that
still counts.
Those are the 7 players that I think should get into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're crazy if you think otherwise. I mean, you're not crazy, but you're just not agreeing with us.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
'Cause we know what we're talking about.
So then we'll just go ahead and finish off this podcast with AFC West. Who we think's going to win it, how it's going to shake out. Once again, the teams in the AFC West are the Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, and the San Diego Chargers. I'm sorry, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Boo.
And the AFC West has to go once again go up against the AFC West twice, and the AFC East and the NFC East. Once again, not an easy schedule.
No.
Not an easy schedule at all. Considering that all of these West Coast teams will have to go travel 4 times
East Coast
to the East Coast. And depending on when that schedule is, it could be...
They also get vice versa. The East has to go to the West.
Yeah, but it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be tough. I mean, the only team that benefits the only division that benefits from this whole thing is the NFC East, because they play the AFC West and the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
So if
they'll
they play,
be used to it.
Yeah, I mean, if they play
playing half their games,
3 games, if they play, Denver, LA, and Kansas City, they can just stay over on that side. They don't even have to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
They spend 3 weeks over on the west side. But the AFC West, how this is going to shake down is going to be Oakland Raiders win the division, hands down. 14-2, 13-3. I mean, I can care. They play against the AFC East. The only team that has a chance of actually beating them is the Patriots. Now, the way that I saw that their schedule worked out is that they have they play a team. I think it's they play the Chargers, and then they go to Mexico to play against the Patriots in Mexico, which we all know
Mexico loves the Raiders.
Mexico loves the Raiders. Mexico has never allowed the Raiders to lose a game.
No.
And the Patriots, and then it's right after that they go on a bye week. The Patriots are going to I think they play someone down south, and then they have to fly over to Mexico. They're not going to have any kind of they're going to be traveling. They're going to be tired.
Not to mention, I think if they're going down south, they're probably playing the Bucks, and the Bucks are going to beat them up even if they win that game.
Yeah,
Still
even
gonna
if they
beat
win
'em
that
up.
game, it's going to be tough. So the Oakland Raiders easily, I mean, in my opinion, 13-3, 14-2, win the division, have a first-round bye. No doubt about it. I said it last year that they should have made a deep run in the playoffs, but if Derek Carr stays healthy, then they will easily bring a championship home to Oakland. Kansas City, honestly, if Kansas City doesn't make the playoffs this year, there's gonna be a lot of turmoil on that team.
Yeah.
But Kansas City just lost Jamal Charles to Denver, right?
Yep. Which, I mean, it's not a big loss because if it was Jamal Charles from 3 years ago, that's a huge loss.
Right.
But he hasn't been playing the past 2 years. He's been on and off. And they got Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware's a decent running back for them.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for me because I feel like Kansas City is a dominant team.
Yeah.
But if Denver can somehow make Trevor Siemian a good quarterback,
They don't have to. All he has to do is manage a game.
if Trevor Siemian manages a game, they will beat Kansas City over in the division rankings.
And it's hard to argue with that.
Because it's like, now they have the run game that they were missing last year. So it's Jamal Charles and C.J. Anderson still.
But you can say that. You can say the same thing with the Chiefs, though. Because, they're not, Denver great, but they got a dominant defense.
Didn't they lose Macklin?
Yeah.
Where'd Macklin go? San Francisco, right?
Ravens.
Ravens. Oh.
They're relying on Tyreek Hill. They're relying
No.
basically
Kansas City falls to third for me. Then.
Basically, what I'm seeing with Kansas City this year is they're relying on Alex Smith to protect the ball, which he's good at, and that defense to dominate. And that could very well happen because their defense is better than people give it credit for.
Their defense is top 5, but I'm going with arguably the number 1 defense in Denver, and I think
I know.
I think that Denver will be second and Kansas City will be third. Kansas City can still make the playoffs being third. I mean the AFC is predominantly weak enough for if Kansas City finishes 10-6, Denver finishes 11-5, and Oakland finishes 12-2, and San Diego finishes 4-12. They could all 3 make the playoffs, which has happened before. We've seen that happen before, but I don't
see Denver winning that many games, though.
No.
Just off the strength of their defense alone, I don't see it.
It's tough because that second spot is a toss-up between Kansas City and Denver. Knowing that Kansas City has lost a lot, and it's just relying strictly on their defense, and Tyreek Hill, who's, once again, just a burner. He's not he's not a possession receiver. He's not a, first down guy. I'm a burn up the side, or
Perfect slot receiver.
or give me the ball and I'm gonna do a 5-yard out and I'm gonna go. That's all I can do. Denver has great weapons, just no quarterback, and they have a great defense. It's just, and then San Diego is just. I feel so bad for them right now.
No.
Los Angeles Chargers. I'm sorry.
No. You feel bad for Phillip Rivers.
I feel bad for Phillip Rivers.
Man, that guy.
Man gets his 2 first-round draft picks, or his first 2-round draft picks, whatever you want to say. Forrest Lamp, which I told you, Lamp was the best guard coming out.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. And Mike Williams, who I told you was the best wide receiver coming out. Both of them get hurt for the rest of the year.
Yep. Sounds about right.
It's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now we have Melvin Gordon.
And Phillip Rivers will still consistently throw for 300, 400 yards.
Rivers will throw for over 4,000 yards. But it's not going to do him any good because he doesn't have anything around him right now. It's just not healthy. It's tough for him. They don't have there's just pieces missing on that team.
Yep.
And it seems like they haven't made if they've made that shot to get the pieces, they're hurt.
And they made the right choices in the draft this year.
If they just got hurt, man. That injury bug is just killing Los Angeles. So I think Oakland wins the division hands down. No discussion about it. The second seed, it's just a toss up between Kansas City and Denver right now. I mean, I'm slightly leaning towards Denver, mainly because if Trevor Siemian can just somehow just make a good pass a couple times a game.
And we're not even sure that he's a starter. It might be Paxton Lynch.
I mean, they're saying that he's a starter for the first preseason game.
And Paxton Lynch is a starter for the second game.
Yeah, it's just...
You never know.
Siemian or... I mean
Paxton Lynch,
I think Kaepernick can throw.
Put Kaepernick on that team.
Put Kaepernick in there. They're 11-5, hands down. But it's just I don't know, man. And then like I said, San Diego, Los Angeles, they're gonna be last. So how do you see them going up against? I mean, they got a tough schedule too, man. AFC East and NFC East. Besides the AFC East, everybody but the Patriots is an easy winnable game. Like, it'll be tough depending on where they play them at, but it could be a winnable game.
Depending on how well Jay Cutler fits in to the Dolphins.
I think that it's a winnable game. I don't think...
No, it's a winnable game, but it's not going to be easy compared to, the Jets.
And Buffalo.
And, even Buffalo could...
I think Buffalo's a winnable. Easy.
No, it's winnable,
Easy.
But I don't think it's easy.
That's just me, though.
Because my boy Tyrod Taylor is going to throw for over 6,000 yards.
All right. Go ahead and tell us your AFC West predictions.
I'm going to be real quick with it because I kind of agree with you. The only thing I'm switching is I'm keeping Oakland at 1, but the only thing I'm switching is Kansas City and Denver. Kansas City still got a lock on number 2, I think. Denver, number 3, and then again, it all depends, because... I mean, watching Paxton Lynch in college, he has potential to be a good quarterback. Like, not just a game manager, but a halfway decent quarterback. So, but I don't see that this year. So I think Kansas City still has a lock on number 2. And then, poor Chargers. Poor Phillip Rivers again. Yeah. I mean, I promise you put him on Denver, that's a Super Bowl team.
100%.
That is a Super Bowl team.
There's no arguing about it.
You put him on the Chiefs even. I mean, the Chiefs last year, with Jeremy Maclin, that's a Super Bowl team.
Yep.
I mean, just get him some weapons.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the weapons.
All them teeth, no toothbrush.
They're not healthy. And that's a good analogy. All those teeth, all those weapons, no toothbrush, can't stay healthy. It's just so tough for them. So that's going to end it for us this week. Let us know how you feel about, who's going to finish in the AFC West and the NFC West, how that's going to finish. Let us know your thoughts about Colin Kaepernick. We would like to hear them. Sorry, my dog is reverse sneezing. It's a weird thing he does. And let us know who you guys should think be in the Hall of Fame next year. Dash, come here, buddy. I know. Sorry, guys. Come here. I've neglected you for too long. You can come up here and finish the podcast with us, okay? All right. It's okay. Yeah. Hey, bud. So we're going to go ahead and finish this out, but we'd like to hear your guys' comments. Make sure you subscribe. We will be back every Thursday from now on.
Every Thursday.
Posting new videos, go on Facebook Live. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Like I said previously, we don't have no competition, so, I mean...
We're not trying to... we're just going back to being basic.
You know how we do, just pooping.
We're just chilling out, gonna do what we gotta do, and have fun with this. That's all this is about, having fun. Next week, we got my buddy Brandon Wright coming on the show. We'll be talking about the NFC and the AFC South, and whatever else comes up into our minds before then. Probably do some preseason talk about, but
yeah.
I mean, that's all that we got for you guys this week. Once again, tune in next week, next Thursday, or Facebook Live, and for another video. It was nice talking to you guys.
See ya.